Hello everyone and welcome to Old Coins TV channel. If you love exploring the world of coins, their history, value, and rare discoveries, you've come to the right place. Here, we'll share exciting information about coins from around the world, from ancient treasures to modern currency. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss our latest videos. The 1956 1 cent, commonly known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny, represents one of the final chapters in the long and respected wheat cent series that began in 1909 and ended in 1958. Struck during a period of economic growth and social change in the United States, the 1956 cent reflects the strength, stability, and optimism of post-World War II America. By 1956, the Lincoln cent had already become the most familiar coin in daily American life, used by millions of people every single day for basic purchases such as newspapers, candy, stamps, and public transportation. The coin continued Victor David Brenner's iconic Lincoln design on the obverse, which had been in use for nearly half a century, making it one of the longest-running portrait designs in U.S. coinage history. Even though the 1956 cent was produced in very large quantities, it remains historically important and widely collected due to its role in the final years of the wheat penny era. The year 1956 falls squarely within the Eisenhower era, a time marked by industrial expansion, rising middle-class prosperity, and rapid modernization in the United States. Television was becoming common in households, highways were expanding under the Federal Aid Highway Act, and American manufacturing was at its peak. Coins like the 1956 1 cent circulated heavily, reflecting a cash-based economy where small denominations were essential. The U.S. Mint focused on producing durable, reliable coinage in massive quantities to meet public demand. During this time, there was little emphasis on commemorative or special collector issues for cents. Instead, the priority was efficiency and consistency. As a result, the 1956 cent was struck in huge numbers, ensuring its availability nationwide and making it one of the most common wheat pennies still found today. The obverse of the 1956 1 cent features the familiar right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile is dignified and realistic, symbolizing honesty, unity, and leadership. Above Lincoln's head appears the word, liberty, while the date, 1956, is positioned to the right. The national motto, "In God We Trust," runs along the top edge of the coin. By 1956, the design had been slightly modified from its original 1909 version, with Brenner's initials, VDB, discreetly placed on the shoulder truncation of Lincoln's bust, a change made earlier to address public controversy. The obverse design is sharp and clean on well-preserved examples, while circulated pieces often show wear on Lincoln's hair, cheek, and jawline. The reverse of the 1956 cent displays the classic wheat ears design, which gives the series its popular nickname. Two stylized wheat stalks curve inward along the left and right edges, framing the central inscriptions, 1 cent, and United States of America. Above these words is the motto, Et pluribus unum. The wheat ears symbolize agricultural strength, prosperity, and the nation's roots as a farming-based economy. By the mid-1950s, this design had become deeply nostalgic, representing traditional American values. Just 2 years later, in 1959, the reverse would be replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design, making the 1956 cent part of the final generation to carry this beloved agricultural imagery. The 1956 1 cent was struck in the traditional 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy, giving it a rich, reddish-brown color when new. This copper composition had been standard for U.S. cents since the 19th century, except for the steel cents of 1943. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, with a plain edge. The high copper content contributes to the coin's durability and also makes it attractive to collectors who appreciate the warm tones of original red or red-brown examples. Over time, exposure to air and handling causes the copper to darken, resulting in brown coloration on circulated pieces. The 1956 1 cent was produced at 3 U.S. Mint facilities, each identified by its mint mark. Philadelphia Mint No Mint mark, struck in extremely large numbers and forming the majority of surviving examples. Denver Mint D Mint mark, also produced heavily and widely circulated. San Francisco Mint's mint mark, struck in lower quantities and more desirable to collectors in higher grades. The San Francisco issue is often considered the most collectible of the three due to its comparatively lower mintage and generally better strike quality. However, none of the 1956 issues are considered rare in circulated condition. During the late 1950s, 1 cent had significant purchasing power compared to today. The 1956 cent changed hands countless times, passing through grocery stores, gas stations, schools, and post offices. Children saved them in jars, adults used them for exact change, and businesses relied on them daily. Because of this heavy use, most surviving examples show clear signs of wear. Finding a 1956 cent in uncirculated condition is far more difficult than finding a worn example, which adds to the appeal for collectors seeking high-grade specimens. In general, 1956 wheat pennies are affordable, especially in circulated grades. Coins in good-to-fine condition are common and typically valued modestly. However, value increases noticeably for coins graded mint state MS, particularly those with strong original red color. Coins graded MS65 red or higher are sought after by collectors completing high-quality wheat cent sets. The San Francisco Mint issues often command higher premiums in top grades. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchette defects can significantly increase value, though major errors are uncommon for this year. The 1956 1 cent stands as a bridge between tradition and modernization. Just 2 years later, the wheat reverse would be retired, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This makes the 1956 cent part of the final classic design period of U.S. 1 cent coinage. Many collectors focus on these late wheat cents because they combine historical charm with relative accessibility, making them ideal for both beginners and advanced numismatists. Today, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny remains a symbol of mid-20th century America. While it may not be rare, its historical significance, classic design, and copper composition give it lasting appeal. For collectors, it represents a tangible link to everyday American life in the 1950s. Whether found in an old coin jar, inherited collection, or carefully preserved in mint condition, the 1956 1 cent continues to be appreciated as a meaningful piece of U.S. monetary history. During 1956, the U.S. Mint relied on advanced mechanical presses that were far more efficient than those used earlier in the century, yet still less automated than modern coinage systems. Planchettes for the 1 cent were first cut from copper alloy strips, then cleaned, heated, and softened to ensure a proper strike. These blanks were fed into high-speed presses where obverse and reverse dies struck simultaneously, imprinting the design with significant force. Despite improvements in technology, variations still occurred, especially during long production runs, which is why some 1956 cents show weak strikes, die fatigue, or minor alignment issues. Because production numbers were extremely high, dies were often used longer than ideal, resulting in softened lettering or less defined wheat ears on some coins. These subtle variations make die state analysis an interesting area of study for advanced collectors. Although the 1956 1 cent is not famous for major double die varieties like some earlier wheat pennies, specialists have identified multiple minor die varieties, including small repunched mint marks RPMs, slight die chips, and micro-doubling visible under magnification. Denver and San Francisco issues are particularly studied for RPMs due to manual punching of mint marks at the time. These varieties often go unnoticed in circulation but can add interest and value for collectors who carefully examine their coins. Die cracks near the date or along the wheat ears are also observed on late-state dies, providing insight into how long certain dies remained in service before replacement. Strike quality on 1956 cents varies significantly depending on the mint. Philadelphia issues often display average strikes with occasional softness in Lincoln's hair and the central wheat lines. Denver cents are known for slightly stronger strikes overall, while San Francisco issues frequently show sharper detail and cleaner fields, especially in higher grades. Surface characteristics such as luster, original color, and absence of contact marks play a critical role in grading. Coins that retain their original mint luster and red copper color are especially prized, as copper is highly reactive and easily toned or darkened by environmental exposure. Even small handling marks can greatly affect the final grade of an otherwise attractive coin. Collectors classify 1956 cents into three primary color categories: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. Red coins retain most of their original mint color and are the most valuable, especially in mint state grades. Red-brown examples show a mix of original red and natural brown toning, offering a balance between beauty and affordability. Brown coins, which make up the majority of circulated examples, have fully toned surfaces and are typically valued lower unless they are exceptionally well preserved. Proper storage is essential to maintaining color, as exposure to humidity, heat, or improper holders can accelerate toning and reduce collector value. Error coins from 1956, while not extremely common, are actively sought by collectors. Examples include off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, broad strikes, and weak strikes caused by improper pressure. Some cents exhibit lamination errors, where layers of the copper alloy separate due to impurities in the metal strip. These errors provide physical evidence of the minting challenges of the era and add a fascinating dimension to collecting beyond standard date and mint sets. Error coins must be authenticated carefully, as damage can sometimes mimic mint errors. Proper preservation of a 1956 1 cent is crucial, especially for higher grade or red examples. Collectors are advised to store coins in acid-free holders, such as mylar flips or certified slabs, to prevent chemical reactions. Avoiding direct contact with skin is important, as oils can permanently stain copper surfaces. Environmental control, low humidity, stable temperature, and minimal light exposure helps preserve both luster and color. Many original red cents from the 1950s have darkened over time due to poor storage, making well-preserved examples increasingly scarce. The 1956 wheat penny plays an important educational role for beginner collectors. Its affordability allows new numismatists to learn grading, color classification, and basic die variety identification without significant financial risk. Many collectors begin their journey by assembling a full wheat cent set, and the 1956 issue often serves as a reference point for understanding late series characteristics. Because it is easy to find in lower grades and challenging in high grades, it teaches patience and attention to detail. Beyond numismatics, the 1956 1 cent holds cultural significance as a symbol of everyday American life in the 1950s. It represents an era before digital transactions, when physical coins played a central role in commerce. The presence of Abraham Lincoln on the cent reinforced national identity and historical continuity, while the wheat ears reminded citizens of agricultural roots even as society became increasingly industrialized. This combination of symbolism and practicality is a major reason the wheat penny remains beloved decades after its replacement. While the 1956 1 cent is unlikely to become rare in circulated condition, its long-term collectability remains strong, especially for high-grade and well-preserved examples. As time passes, original red mint state coins become scarcer due to natural oxidation and mishandling. This gradual attrition enhances the desirability of certified examples and ensures continued interest among collectors. The coin's role as part of the final wheat penny generation guarantees its place in American numismatic history. The market for the 1956 1 cent has remained remarkably stable over decades, reflecting its status as a widely available yet historically meaningful coin. Unlike key date wheat cents, whose prices fluctuate sharply with economic trends, the 1956 cent experiences steady demand driven mainly by set builders and condition-focused collectors. In lower grades, prices remain modest, making the coin accessible to collectors of all backgrounds. However, in higher mint state grades, especially coins certified with full red color, the market becomes more selective and competitive. Auction results over many years show that top-quality examples slowly but consistently increase in value, not because of rarity in absolute numbers but because of rarity in preservation quality. This stability makes the 1956 cent a benchmark coin often used by collectors to understand how condition, color, and eye appeal affect value. When compared to its neighboring issues, the 1956 1 cent occupies a unique position. The 1955 cent is famous for its dramatic double die variety, which overshadows regular 1955 issues and draws significant attention to the year as a whole. The 1957 cent, on the other hand, is closer to the end of the wheat penny series and shares many production characteristics with 1956. Collectors often view 1956 as a pure representative of late wheat cents, free from major headline-grabbing varieties but rich in typical mid-century minting traits. Strike strength, luster quality, and color retention in 1956 issues are often used as comparison standards when grading other late wheat pennies. Over the years, many hoards of 1950s wheat cents have been discovered, often stored in jars, bags, or rolls by individuals who believed copper coins would someday be valuable. The 1956 cent frequently appears in such hoards, sometimes in surprisingly well-preserved condition due to limited handling. These hoards have periodically introduced fresh supplies of higher-grade coins into the market, temporarily softening prices but also increasing collector interest. Hoard coins often retain better luster and more uniform toning, making them attractive to collectors seeking originality. The study of hoard coins also provides insight into historical saving habits and public attitudes toward coinage during the mid-20th century. Grading a 1956 1 cent involves more than technical wear assessment. Eye appeal plays a crucial role, especially for copper coins. Two coins with identical technical grades can differ significantly in market value based on color balance, surface smoothness, and overall visual harmony. Collectors often prefer evenly toned red-brown coins over spotted or unevenly colored red examples. This psychological aspect of collecting explains why some 1956 cents command premiums far above guide prices. Understanding these nuances helps collectors make informed decisions and deepens appreciation for the artistry involved in coin evaluation. Although the 1956 1 cent is a U.S. coin, it enjoys international recognition among collectors worldwide. Many non-American collectors include Lincoln wheat cents in global collections because of their long-running design and historical association with Abraham Lincoln. In countries where copper coinage has been discontinued or significantly altered, the 1956 cent represents a classic example of traditional copper coin production. International demand, while not overwhelming, contributes to long-term market support and ensures that the coin remains actively traded beyond U.S. borders. The 1956 1 cent is frequently used in educational settings to teach basic numismatic concepts such as grading, mint marks, metal composition, and historical context. Its affordability allows students and beginners to handle real historical artifacts without fear of damage to highly valuable pieces. Teachers and hobby clubs often use late wheat cents like the 1956 issue to demonstrate how economic, technological, and cultural factors influence coin design and production. This educational value adds another layer of importance beyond monetary worth. In today's world of digital payments and declining coin usage, the 1956 1 cent serves as a reminder of a time when physical currency was central to everyday life. As discussions continue about the future of low-denomination coins, interest in historical cents has grown. Collectors increasingly view coins like the 1956 wheat penny as artifacts of a fading monetary tradition. This shift in perspective enhances the coin's cultural relevance and ensures continued interest from future generations. Ultimately, the 1956 1 cent endures not because it is rare, but because it represents consistency, craftsmanship, and continuity in American coinage. It connects the early 20th century to the modern era and stands as a quiet witness to decades of economic and social change. For collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike, the 1956 wheat penny remains a meaningful and respected piece of numismatic heritage.